This is Jordan Tower with JT News. Make sure you smash that like button, smash that subscribe. And okay, so I see Juelz and Jim Jones are still very calculated together in their issues with Cameron. Now, let me quickly say, so Juelz did the Art of Dialogue, and Jim Jones just did Cam Capone News, all right? Respect both of those platforms, and they're just doing their job. Now, Juelz shouldn't have spoken out about this. I'll say one thing. Juelz looks a lot healthier. I'm happy for him, and I hope that he starts dropping music again so that at least he can have an underground career at this point. I don't think he'll ever have a commercial career again, but he deserves to be at a level of a Benny the Butcher or something because Juelz can rap. The game should be missing Juelz a little bit, like I know it's been a long time since Juelz gave you anything. The last impactful thing that was like very impactful was obviously, the verses, but as far as a track that dropped, unfortunately it was a Cameron diss right before he came out of jail, right? Calling out Cameron, right? Anyways, Juelz Santana, happy for him, and I respect Juelz's talent. Me and him have worked together, and I'm always championing his comeback, but certain things have to be called out, okay? So he addresses this Cameron beef, and I'm going to be honest with you. Maybe it was because, and this is just a fact, and Juelz knows it himself, Juelz was admittedly doing lean around that time. He says it in interviews with MTV. Him and Cameron had a MTV back and forth in 2009, okay? Cameron said he had to fall back from Juelz because he was too addicted to lean. Juelz Santana responded and said, I don't know why he's talking about that publicly, and he didn't answer the question, did he do me dirty in a contract?
Nothing to do with it. I think at the end of the day, Cam is kind of like looking for a way to just answer these questions the best way he knows how. Stop speaking to me for drinking scissor. That's like Baby saying I don't mess with Wayne no more because he was drinking scissor.
It's very different because Juelz Santana didn't drink scissor before. And yes, he does mention that Cameron did have a Percocet addiction at one point. He did, right? So it's true. Okay, it's like the pot calling the kettle black, right? It's like Cameron was wrong for bringing that out. He should have said, I'm just concerned about him. He's not prioritizing music in his own career. He's prioritizing other people's careers instead of his own. So anyways, he addresses this issue and he says, it's never good when the team beefs. He's right about that. But his timeline's off, okay? So let's just set the record straight because I was there, baby. And this is what happened. And I was shocked that this happened. I'm a person that has been raised off extreme loyalty, right? I believe in what Juelz is preaching. You really don't speak about things unless they're spoken on, right? That where you're forced to respond, right? And I can credit Cormega to a lot of that because Cormega taught me a lot of stuff early in my career that were good morals and principles to stand by that he still stands by, and I still do too. But anyways, so 2007 arrives. It's the beginning of the year. Jim Jones is shooting the Emotionless video, okay? I was there shooting the behind the scenes, okay? And we were doing the come up DVD there. So I was doing that. See? Boom. This day, I think it was February 1st, 2007. This day, 50 Cent happens to be up at Angie Martinez. He's dissing Kosh, calling it a graveyard. That's where people go when their careers are over. Meanwhile, Prodigy's up there and everything. Prodigy is, at this time, 50 Cent's artist with Mobb Deep, right? So he shouldn't really be dissing Koch, but he's taking pot shots really at like D Block because they just had gone up there And he wasn't really dissing Dipset. He's really dissing D Block, and I think Fat Joe had done something with him too. He's doing his thing. Like he keeps his enemies for a while, right? So, anyways, Cameron calls up to defend Jim Jones and Diplomats because they did business with Koch. He says, "How is this a graveyard for artists when Jim Jones just sold hundreds of thousands of records off Ballin' and all this other stuff?" And he was defending Jim Jones. When this happened, shook the city up a little bit because now Dipset and 50 Cent's going against D Block. Now he's got a problem with Dipset. Jim Jones and Juelz start talking, and they decide they're not going to partake in this beef because Jim Jones's career is just taking off, and he's like, his perspective was, why you got to beef with 50 when 50's known for ending careers right when my career just took off a year or two ago, right? I understand the sentiment, right? At this time, Juelz is shelved at Def Jam because now Jay-Z's the head of Def Jam. Jay-Z doesn't like Dipset. Doesn't like Dipset at all, right? So he's shelved. Jim Jones and Juelz are two peas in a pod at this time. Pause. And let me be very clear. There is no Dipset without Jim Jones. There is no Dipset without Juelz Santana. There's no Dipset without Freaky Z. And there's no Dipset movement without Hell Rel, 40 Cal, J.R. Ryder, Ankasa, Shice Bubs. I know I'm missing people, but I'm just saying, like, these are very important characters, right? Because they're doing the stuff. If you can't get Cameron, you're going to get J.R. Ryder, you're going to get Hell Rel, and they're promoting the Bird, right? Purple City Bird, Purple City, all that stuff was super important. Super important. It made the movement seem like it never stops. When one person's taking a break, the other person's going. That's just what Dipset was unstoppable from 2002 to 2007-ish, 8-ish, right around that time. So anyways, next day, Cameron drops Curtis. This is 50 Cent. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 50 Cent drops Funeral Music first. And then they both drop like within a week of each other, right? Then Curtis drops, right? And they're dissing each other. It's on. 50 Cent reorganizes Dipset within Funeral Music. He says, I'm promoting Jim Jones to the head of Dipset. Cameron, you're devoted. And Juelz is like, president. And then he says, I like that song. Ballin', right? Right after that, Jim Jones takes that as him reaching out to him, and he goes to BET Rap City. Shortly after that, I'm sorry. I think he popped out on stage first. That was within a month or two, man. Juelz is in this interview saying, oh, we popped out before the beef or way after because, Jim Jones had Ballin' out, and it was a good opportunity, right? Maybe it happened after the beef. This is uploaded 2008, but this happened in 2007. I don't know what happened first, the Rap City thing or the pop out at the concert. Juelz makes a point. He says, it's cool for Cameron and 50 to end their beef in 2016 and then for Cameron and 50 to stand next to each other in 2024. But it's not cool for Jim Jones to stand next to 50 Cent in 2007. No, Juelz, do you get what loyalty is? Just because you're quiet doesn't mean you're loyal, right? Loyalty is if your man's beefing with someone, you just don't mess with them. You don't have to partake in the beef. Jim Jones didn't have to drop a diss record. as he did in the past with Nas, right? And of course, he was dropping diss records in the past with Nas. Nobody knew Jim Jones was like that. He was making a name for himself away from Cameron, right? Attached to Cameron, but as a strong member in the group of Dipset, right? Listen, there's a big difference. It looks disloyal. It looks disloyal, man. You don't hang out with the ops, when there's beef going on. Just leave it alone. You don't even have to partake in it, Juelz was just as guilty jumping out at that show. He said he was holding Jim Jones down. He did not need to hold Jim Jones down. Jim Jones is the one that actually had the guys that... Jim Jones was fine. He was protected by Mel Matrix and a bunch of other people. He didn't need Juelz to pop out, right? Juelz popped out for support. And I'm going to tell you something, man. Nothing was the same after this. Unfortunately, I hate that Dipset broke up. Cameron usually kept these things under wrap. I'm going to tell you that, okay? Juelz was calling out Cameron for bad business. That's why Cameron was forced to speak on Juelz's lean problem. Because Juelz and Jim always spoke out, because Juelz did DVDs, and he would talk. You know how he says he doesn't talk too much? He was talking a lot. And so was Jim Jones, man. They would drop little hints that Dipset isn't so good. It wasn't how Cameron says, I don't know how you knew there was a problem with Dipset. Everybody knew there was a problem with Dipset that was in the music industry. Cameron wasn't messing with Jim Jones and Juelz. You knew it when the Ballin' video dropped. I think Jim Jones I think Cameron's in one scene. There was a shift after that because Jim Jones was feeling himself when that dropped. He got one. He had his own crew. He had Bird Gang. Jim Jones was making a move. He's always wanted to kind of get away from Cameron. And this is what happened. Let's stop rewriting history, okay? Juelz, just say, hey, we made some mistakes. Juelz, we were really young back then, too. Mistakes get made. I was a little shocked that it happened, but you know what? I'm not in your situation back then. You're in a record deal. You have a career. You have like 20 cars you got to pay for. You have you had a Rolls Royce. You had a Corvette. You had a lot of overhead. You were taking care of a lot of people. I understand. But, why don't you just address the facts in these interviews instead of making it sound cool? Juelz, we're older now, man. And I can admit my wrongs in my past. You got to admit your wrongs, bro. I'm glad he's got himself together, man. He's looking way better. Pause. But there's new rumors out there that he should be addressing, like the Kimbella thing. Kimbella's smashing 504 supposedly. That's embarrassing. Juelz, please get your life together, bro. And don't take this the wrong way. I'm not dissing Juelz. I totally respect everything we did in the past. I think Juelz just needs to mature a little bit more. Or maybe he is more mature now. I haven't spoken to him in a long time. The last time we even DM'd each other was like 2016, right before he got locked up. I was supporting his comeback. And he doesn't need the support. I was just happy he was making music again and dropping every week. And he put me on the intro of 2 songs, and I appreciated it. So I gave him a DM and I said, thanks for putting me on Up in the Studio Getting Blown Part 1 and Part 2. I appreciated it a lot. Juelz Santana, focus on your career. Don't worry about Cameron and Jim Jones beefing. That got nothing to do with you, man. Yeah, you've had some downfalls in the past 15 years. You got your studio raided. You got locked up. When the studio got raided, they took all his music, right? When the studio got raided, they took all of his music in 2010-ish, right? And you couldn't... And he lost all of his material. He lost Can't Feel My Face. He lost a lot of great music, right? Because Juelz is talented, and he made a lot of great music around then. He just made the mistake I think, of focusing too much on Skull Gang and not Juelz Santana, and then focusing on Skull Gang, right? Because you had some talented people in Skull Gang. Then after that took him out for a few years. He tried to come back with a mixtape, God willing, and then I can't remember what happened after that. It just didn't take off the right way. And then eventually he got on Love and Hip Hop. Then he was starting to make a comeback in 2016. Then mistakenly brought a gun to the airport and got locked up. Okay? Wasn't, he's used to flying quickly, grabbed the wrong bag with a gun in it. Boom, went to jail, right? Came home. I think the approach was wrong about dissing Cameron right away, but they seemed to make amends because they did work with each other after that, and Cameron was supportive. They did the verses. That was good, but Juelz just didn't seem like it took him a few years to get his life back together, man, I heard he's been working on music with Rick Ross. Been working on. He has a lot of videos in the can. I've seen it behind the scenes of him shooting videos, just not releasing them. Release it, bro. We're getting too old. We're in our 40s, bro. Me and you are pretty much the same age. Okay? I think we're exactly the same age. We're in our 40s. I want to see you win again, man. I want to see Juelz Santana get a win. I want to see him get in his independent pocket, like a Benny the Butcher or somebody like that. He's built to rap. And he was built to win at one point. He's going to be built to win again. Okay, so this is a positive message to Juelz Santana. Do not worry about Jim Jones trying to do this with Cameron and do this marketing thing. This ain't the way, because it just makes everything look weak. And don't even speak on it anymore, man. Worry about your career, man. You were the breakout person from the group. Cameron crowned you to be next. It wasn't supposed to be Jim Jones having this run. I mean, it's cool because that's the team, but you need another run, bro. So, and it can be independent. It doesn't have to be commercial. All you need is 100,000 fans, bro. 50 to 100,000 fans. And you're paid for life, man. Smash that like button. I'll check you guys in the next one. Peace.